Hello, hello. Namaste and welcome back to the 2025 Masterclass series. Here we are at our third Masterclass in the series, and I hope you all have been enjoying the journey so far. Isn't it really wonderful thing coming together like this from all over the world just for our shared dedication and respect to the sacred science of Jyotisha. And again, each masterclass is being taught by the best scholars in the world, each having very deep understanding, its nuances, and practical experience. So the journey continues, and tonight we are going to turn our focus on a topic that is very central to our lives: marriage. And our teacher today for this is truly special. I say this because you don't often find someone who has truly walked two different worlds. The teacher today, our master, is Dr. S. Archna Murthy, is one such rare person. She has spent nearly 2 decades in the corporate leadership before she has decided to dedicate her life to this sacred science. And she didn't just study it. She earned a PhD in astrology and a master's in Sanskrit, which means she can go right to the source text and verify whether the information that we all understand is right or wrong or even incorrectly interpreted. But it goes, even deeper than that. She has been a regular contributor to the astrological magazine run by the Dr. B.V. Raman family. She is also a Devi Upasaka, and her knowledge is further enriched through her spiritual sadhana. So it's really incredible combination of a sharp modern mind and a truly authentic spiritual heart. So it's my absolute pleasure to now welcome Dr. S. Archna Murthy to begin our masterclass on marriage and Jyotisha. Dr. Archana, the session is all yours.
Thank you, Sri Suprajama. Let me share the screen.
My pleasure. Please go.
So in case you can't see it, please let me know. I'm assuming you can see the screen. So before I begin, I would like to give my pranam to Dr. B.V. Raman, who has enabled Jyotisha to be accessible to all of us. And Sri Niranjan Babu and Sri Suprajarama, thank you for giving me the opportunity on this wonderful platform to spread awareness of this amazing science. And such a beautiful thought of creating a platform called Shakti Sessions, where women's voices in astrology are truly given a space and identity to be heard. This reminds me of a verse from the Devi Mahatmyam, Ya Devi Sarvabhuteshu Shakti Rupena Samsita, Namastasye, 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 Namo Namaha. Salutations to the Shakti who resides in all of us, the eternal source of strength and wisdom. It is such a privilege to be here with all of you today. And a pranam to my father and guru, Professor Dr. N.S. Murthy, who has mentored me not only in Jyotisha, but also in the path of life. Before we begin, I would like to start with a short invocation. Om Sahana Vavatu, Sahana Bhunaktu, Sahaviryam Karavavahe, Tejasvi Navadhitamastu, Mavid Vishavahe, Om Shanti Shanti Shantihi. I personally like this beautiful verse from the Taittiriya Upanishad for its profound meaning. It is a verse recited both by the Guru and the Shishya. It reminds us that learning is a shared journey, just like how Suprajarama said just now. May we be protected, may we be nourished by this knowledge, and may we have the strength and clarity to truly understand it. And why do we say Shanti 3 times? This is to free us from the 3 types of obstacles: Adhyatmika, from Adibhautika, and Adidaivika. Adhyatmika, that is arising from within us either through stress or ill health, Adi Bhautika, obstacles from others, and Adi Devika, from nature, obstacles from nature. I hope we carry this essence into our lifelong journey of learning astrology where we are students for life. With that sankalpa, let's begin the session today. Sarvebhyo namaskaraha. Today's topic is about marriage and astrology. Most of my talk will be about marriage, which is obviously applicable for men and women, but I will be providing quite a few insights that will be skewed towards the women of today. Today's content is based on the numerous interactions I've had over the years with my clients, specifically the number of women in all stages of life, women who have just graduated in their 20s, professionals in 30s and 40s, and how relationships and marriage play such an important aspect in their life. I've seen how even a small piece of guidance can help women feel more confident and clear about their choices. And among all these conversations I've had with them, one topic that almost always comes up is marriage. Whether it's about timing, when will it happen, compatibility, or simply how to build a happy life together, marriage is something almost every woman thinks about at some point. Astrology has always helped us understand things like love and relationships. But today, when women are balancing work, independence and modern life, astrology is even more useful and relevant. So today we'll explore marriage and astrology for today's woman. I promise to keep it practical and relatable. We'll look at the pre-marriage phase, that phase when questions about timing, compatibility, readiness often arise. I'll show you how astrology can actually help identify the issues or patterns that affect marriage and how understanding them can bring a lot of clarity and confidence. We'll also touch upon how Vastu and Muhurta can support. I'll share a few real life case studies of women at different stages of life to make this learning more relatable. Initially, the question always arises, to marry or not to marry? When we look around, sometimes we see couples constantly fighting and bachelorhood sometimes, seems preferable. On the other hand, we also see the loneliness that comes with singlehood, right? No companionship, no one to share life's ups and downs. And in those moments, marriage feels like a blessing. Our Sanatana Dharma has always upheld married life as a superior path, and the reasons are profound. We all have heard the word Vivaha. What is the meaning of this word? Vivaha in Sanskrit is Vishishtam Vahanam. Vahanam is to take it forward. So Vivaha means taking the relationship forward through Vishishtam, that is a Shastriya Parampara. The Vedas remind us that marriage is not just a sentiment. It is built on religious, moral, social, and even scientific foundations. Marriage sustains family, society, and it contributes to stability and longevity. The wife is described as the presiding goddess of the house, Griha Lakshmi. She is a life giver, nurtures the family. In India, marriage is regarded as sacred and permanent, and importantly, it upholds the equality of partners in pursuing the four Purusharthas, Dharma, Artha, Kama, and Moksha. Through marriage, partners walk together as one soul, balancing the material and the spiritual. This is beautifully depicted in this Subhashita. Many people today believe that marriage has completely changed as of today. That the way we see it now is very different from how it was in the past. But did you know that our scriptures ages ago had identified and detailed most of these already, the types of marriages? Rishi Ashvalayana, in his Gruhya Sutras, has beautifully described not just the types of marriage, but even clear guidelines on how to choose the right bride or groom. In fact, he identified and documented 8 distinct types of vivaha, each with its own meaning, context, and dharmic significance. Brahma, Daiva, Gandharva, Prajapatya, Arsha, Asura, Rakshasa, and Paishacha. Well, now love marriage earlier was called Gandharva Vivaha. Remember the famous love story of Dushyant and Shakuntala, which was brought alive by Abhijnana Shakuntalam by Mahakavi Kalidasa. The Vivaha, where the father gave his daughter to a learned man, learned in Vedas, Samskaras, and who was highly knowledgeable. This was Brahma Vivaha. And the Vivaha where the man and woman take vows to be equal partners, share responsibilities, and lead a happy life. This is Prajapatya Vivaha, which is in practice today. Here, in the Prajapatya Vivaha, they say Saha Dharma Charata, to follow Dharma together. In English, like you say, my better half, in our tradition, the husband calls the wife Saha Dharmachari. This is where it came from. Rakshasa, again, other four types. Rakshasa is where the marriage was an outcome of capture, which was mostly seen in Kshatriyas at that time. The worst immoral form was Paishacha, where the girl was forced to marry. And of course, the progressive Swayamvara tradition, which was popular among Kshatriyas. The princess chose her partner among the many suitors. How progressive was that? In a way, the Swayamvara spirit continues even today. Only the form has changed. Now, instead of garlands and bows, the questions have evolved. So, what are the most frequent questions women ask today? Should I marry or not? Is this the right time to marry? When will I get married? Will it be arranged or love? And beyond these, many women come with deeper personal questions as well. Will my partner be equal minded or narrow minded? Should I focus on my career now or get married? Will I be able to focus on my career even after marriage? Will my spouse support my career ambitions? These are very real questions. Astrology not only gives us clues, it gives us a holistic way of understanding marriage, its timing, its patterns, and its possibilities. To truly understand marriage through astrology, I use what I call the 5 lenses. First, the Bhava lens. We all know there are 12 Bhavas or houses in a horoscope. These represent every aspect of our life. Out of this, which bhavas represent marriage? Should we see all houses or only a few? Well, there are many schools of thought. As per Stree Jataka, the crucial houses to examine are 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 9, and 12. As per my father and guru, you also need to see Lagna and 11th. But since our topic is specifically about the pre-marriage, that is, before a woman is married, my opinion would be to focus mainly on these houses: 7th, Lagna, 2nd, 3rd, and 5th. As per me, these houses, that is the post-marriage, the rest of the houses that I'll talk about now, these houses get primarily activated after marriage. 4th house, of course, we all know is Sukhasthana, right? But when you see with the lens of marriage, it also is a relationship with your in-laws, crucial for peace and harmony. 5th house or the Santanasthana is about children, family lineage. 8th house is Mangalya, the Mangalya Sthana, the duration of your married life and the deep, intimate connection with your partner. 9th house is Bhagya Sthana, fortune through your partner and marital prosperity. 12th house, of course, is Shayana Sthana, intimacy, bed comforts, essential for marital bonding. All these get activated once the person is married. In my experience, if you focus, analyze, and provide remedies for the issues seen in the pre-marriage houses, these 7th, 2nd, 1st, and 3rd, and 5th, then issues arising after marriage or which may be indicated in the horoscope can be reduced. So, analyze 7th, Lagna, 2nd, 3rd, and 5th, provide remedies for these. The delays in marriage will not only reduce, but even the difference of opinion and the unhappy married life later on can be avoided. So let's look at these houses in detail. This is the first aspect, right? The first lens. We'll start with the 7th house. You would have heard marriages are made in heaven, but in Jyotish Shastram, we say marriages are made in 7. That's why 7th house is so important to consider. I could have started analyzing from Lagna or the person's horoscope, right? But no, I believe 7th is first to be considered. Why? It is the Kalatra Sthana. Kalatra means partner in Sanskrit. It tells you about your partner's characteristic, what kind of relationship you may have. It represents your spouse. So out of the 12 bhavas, I would suggest to always start with 7th. Look at the planets in the 7th house. Benefics obviously are welcome. Malefics in 7th come with its own challenges. For instance, Surya in 7th says unhappy conjugal life, dominating, ambitious, and a little cruel spouse. Shani in 7th, there will be delay in marriage, immense trouble in the domestic environment. Rahu in 7th indicates separation, bad and vicious temper of partner. Ketu in 7th, a detached and secretive partner. The next to see is who is aspecting 7th. Now, if malefics are in 7th, the way we saw, but if benefic planets such as Guru, Shukra aspect it, then the issues reduce. Or if 7th house is the own house of the malefic graha, then the issues are reduced a little. What if benefics are in 7th? Say Moon, a romantic partner, prosperity of the after marriage, happy and early marriage is seen. If exalted Guru is there, then the marriage is blessed. Partner will be faithful, generous, noble, virtuous. But a Neecha Guru can cause issues. Strong Shukra in 7th will give a loving and prosperous, sensuous partner. Again, remember, if these benefics in 7th are afflicted, then the benefit that it can produce also will reduce. Now, after looking at the 7th house, now look at where is the 7th lord. 7th lord is in, if 7th is in Kendra or Trikona, then it will support marital harmony. If it is in Dusthanas, then that is a 6th, 8th or 12th, then unhappy marital life is what it indicates. Similar exercise to be done for the 2nd house. 2nd house is Kutumbasthana, family life, expansion of your family, or decrease in family members. Of course, it also indicates well, but today's topic is, we are concerned with the topic of marriage. Again, see which planet is in the 2nd house. Benefics indicate family expansion and a peaceful family life. But if malefics are there, then delays in marriage. Similarly, say where is the 2nd lord? As long as it is not in Dusthanas. Then the 3rd house to analyze is Lagna, ascendant, the very foundation of your chart. It represents your physical body, your vitality, your approach to life itself. It shapes your personality, your approach to partnership, and even the nature of the spouse you attract. It also tells as an individual, are you ready physically, emotionally, energetically to step into partnership? The strength of the Lagna tells us about your overall health, longevity, and even your personal readiness for marriage. When the Lagna is strong, it often brings confidence and balance, qualities that help you attract the right partner and sustain a harmonious relationship. For instance, for Mesha Lagna, if Mangala is in 5th, Mangala that is in Simha Rashi, then it shows strong willpower, physical vitality. Such a person approaches marriage with clarity, they know what they want, they take initiative. Now, after seeing the Lagna house, see where the Lagna Lord is. In a way, the Lagna reflects your self-confidence factor, how comfortable you are in your own skin, and whether you are ready to share life with someone else. A strong Lagna can give emotional steadiness and resilience in marriage, but a weak Lagna can show self-doubt, low confidence, or health issues that sometimes affect marital harmony. So, in a sense, the Lagna shows how ready and healthy you are to enter and sustain a partnership. 3rd house. Why are we looking at the 3rd house? It's very interesting when we look at marriage and 3rd house. It's called Kankana Bhagya. Whether you even have the fortune of a marriage ceremony. It shows courage and initiative a person has, whether they are willing to take the first step or make the effort to keep a relationship strong. And because this house is also about communication, it tells us how easily you can share your thoughts and feelings with your partner. If Mars is in 3rd, then communication can be argumentative and may become an enemy to the spouse. Why? Because if Mars is in 3rd, then its 4th aspect is to 6th house, which is activating the Ripu Sthana. Ripu means enemy in Sanskrit, right? Needless to say, after seeing the 3rd house, who is in the 3rd house, we need to see the planets in the third, where the third lord is, and also who aspects it. So in a way, this house shows the strength of your effort, your voice, and your willingness to make the marriage work. And the last house to look at is Purva Punya, the fifth house, the blessings you carry from past lives. What does the fifth house indicate? If there is a romantic interest in your life and how you express affection. A strong fifth house usually brings warmth, understanding, and an affectionate partner. How two people solve problems together to keep your relationship emotionally alive. With that, you would have looked through the first lens of bhava analysis, looking at the crucial bhavas. Now, the second lens you will have to grab to analyze the grahas. Which grahas do you think you should focus on? I will say Shukra, Guru, Surya, Chandra, and Rahu. Most important is Shukra, Kalatra Karaka, Karaka of marriage and relationships, love, attraction. And in a woman's chart, it is the Karaka of a wife. Strong Shukra makes you attracted to opposite sex very early in life. And if you see Shukra in better places, then it, like in 11th or 7th, it brings fortune after marriage. Shukra in Kumbha can actually bring excessive attachment. Shukra in 12th, indicates secret love affairs. Unless aspected by Guru, then it brings conjugal bliss. Next important graha is Guru, Brihaspati, the Vipra who blesses the union or legitimizes the relationship. Guru is the Karaka for husband in a female's chart. Then the next would be Sun and Moon, Surya and Chandra. Why should we analyze Surya and Chandra? Surya is Arogya Karaka. He talks about physical health, well-being. Next is Moon, Mano Karaka, mental balance and emotional harmony. Without Sun and Moon, physical and mental health, no marriage can sustain or be healthy. And finally, I personally look at even Rahu, which is an interesting Chaya Graha. It has profound influence on other Grahas, especially on relationships. Now, Rahu association with Shukra, it says, when I say association, I mean conjunction aspect. So, Rahu with Shukra will make you go against parents' wishes for relationship. You may sacrifice parental love. Rahu and Mangala makes a person rigid. It bruises the feelings between couples. Rahu and Chandra makes a person moody, addictive behavior might be seen. Rahu and Surya, conflicts could arise between couples due to status, inferiority, superiority complexes. So when I say analyze these grahas, I mean see where these are placed in the horoscope. What are their lordships? Are these strong? Are they weak or combusted or afflicted? I'll touch upon these in detail when we look at the case studies. The third lens is the timing lens. Marriage is often triggered during the dasha of the seventh lord, the benefics dashas, which is the Guru, Shukra, Moon, or the Lagna lord dasha. Now, transits also play a big role. When Jupiter transits 2nd, 5th, 7th, 9th, 11th, which brings Guru Bala, opportunities for marriage open up. Even Shukra Dasha, of course, Shukra falls under the benefic Dasha that I spoke of, but Shukra is very dear because it is Kalatra Karaka. Shukra Dasha or its Bhukti can trigger marriage prospects. These are the main indicators. There are others as well. Due to shortage of time in this session, I'm not going to go through extensive dictums. I will touch upon a few more you will see in the coming case studies. The fourth lens, now your lens should now search for any doshas are there in the horoscope that are related to marriage. 3 important doshas to look at: Kuja, Vivaha, and Santana dosha. Let's look at the Kuja dosha or Mangala dosha or Manglik. Let's understand it today to break any misconceptions and myths around it. There's a lot of fear, unfortunately, from half-baked knowledge. Kuja or Mars is an exceptional planet. He gives us courage, boldness, molds us into a leader. That's why he's also called the Samanya Kshatriya. He is the commander-in-chief. But when he is associated with dusthanas, the 6th, 8th, or the 12th houses, then it makes you arrogant, adamant, quarrelsome. So naturally in marriage, Kuja becomes very important. Mangala's placement in a horoscope needs to be considered from your natural Lagna, then the Chandra Lagna and the Shukra Lagna. Now, if Mars occupies one, that is Lagna, 2nd, 4th, 7th, 8th, and 12th houses, from the Lagna or from the Chandra Lagna or from the Shukra Lagna, then it is considered as Kuja dosha. But why only these houses? Have you thought of that? Lagna is obvious, right? Health and longevity, super important. Mangala in Lagna is 7th to 7th. If we take the Bhava principle, it is 7th to 7th. 7th is what? Your spouse's Lagna, right? Your prospective partner's Lagna. Now, when he is in the Lagna, he is the Maraka for the partner. Second house is the Kutumbasthana. Increase or decrease in family members is seen here. But here, if Mangala is in the 2nd, then he will be 8th to your 7th. That is the spouse's Lagna. Again, 8th to 7th indicates difficulties to partner. If Mangala is in 4th, domestic environment or the Sukhasthana, then Mangala in 4th brings disputes in domestic life of the native. The rest 3 houses are 7th, 8th, and 12th. The 7th house obviously represents legal bondage of marriage, your partner's characteristics, health, and longevity. Mars in 7th could disrupt the understanding between partners. 8th house, if Mangala is in 8th, 8th is called Ashtam Nashtam, right? Difficulties of the native. Mars in 8th may bring issues in finance, fortune, and issues in fortune and married life. Also, Mangalya Sthana is 8th. Technically, the duration of the married life, hence Mars here is not good. 12th house. Finally, if Mangala is in 12th house, 12th house is called the bed pleasure, Shayanasthana. In married life, extramarital tendencies, laws, deception. So Mars in 12th enhances these issues. Now, Kuja dosha, like I said, could either be from the ascendant in D1 or only from the Chandra or Chandra Lagna, or it can be only from Shukra Lagna. It's still considered Kuja dosha. But if it is from Lagna, from Chandra Lagna and from Shukra Lagna, then it is considered a very strong Kuja dosha. Now, what's the dosha parihara? The good news is that there are many exceptions which nullifies Kuja dosha. In fact, these nullifications or exceptions are beautifully mentioned in the book written by Dr. Devi Raman. So even if you see Mars in these houses due to these exceptions, you cannot consider these as Kuja dosha. I'll tell you which of those are. A few exceptions. Mars in his own house, that is, if he is in Mesha, Vrishchika, it will not harm and it is not considered as Kuja dosha. And if Mars, that is, for example, here, if Mars is in Aries, is free from Kuja dosha for these Lagnas. Now, same if it is Mars in Scorpio. Here, obviously, the example is Scorpio, and then it is still not considered as Kuja dosha. Now, the second exception is Jupiter's blessing. If Mars is with Jupiter, aspected by Jupiter, or in Guru signs, then those signs the Mars will lose its evil results. The other exceptions are Mars if it is in Bhachakra Kendra, that is the natural zodiac Kendra houses, then Mars will not harm. For instance, here Mars is exalted in Makara and it is also the Kendra Sthana, the 10th house, the Karma Bhava for Mesha Lagna. So then again, this is not considered Kuja dosha. If it is in sun houses, that is, in the Simha or the Makara or Kumbha, again, Kuja dosha is not considered. Like this, there are many exceptions where Kuja dosha is nullified. The other two doshas to look at is Vivaha dosha and Santana dosha. Now, malefics affecting 7th house is considered Vivaha dosha. This could cause delays in marriage, unhappy married life due to difference of opinion. For example, Saturn's aspect to 7th delays marriage. Mangala aspecting 7th can bring a quarrelsome marriage. Rahu can bring multiple marriages. So to avoid these, we fortunately have pariharas that need to be done before the marriage to reduce the intensities of these issues. That way you can ward off these issues. Next is Santana dosha. Shouldn't this be considered after marriage? Why are we looking at it during the pre-marriage phase? Well, even this can cause delay in marriage. Malefics affecting the 5th house is considered Santana dosha So it is better to do the Santana dosha parihara before marriage to reduce delays. The last lens in the analysis section is the 5th lens, the readiness lens. Of course, not much to analyze here. It is now the person who is in charge or whose horoscope we are analyzing. We have to make them ready, or they have to get ready mentally and physically. Now, even when the chart supports marriage, I've seen that if the individual is not emotionally or mentally ready, marriage does not materialize easily. Now, readiness, how can we help as astrologers for readiness? Prescribe money, mantra, or aushadha, gemstones, mantras, yoga, meditation. All these can get the client there. Now, let's look at a few case studies related to marriage timing. How to identify early marriage, how to identify delays. What are the various combinations, formulae used by our scholars? Can these be applied in a real life scenario? Let's look at the first case, early marriage. By early marriage, I'm taking before 25 because I'm taking 25 as the ideal age for women, keeping their biological and social scenarios in mind. And anything before 25, I'm taking it as early marriage. Now, early marriage, I will say 3 areas are very important. 7th, look at Shukra and look at Libra, Tula Rashi. Now, 7th house, now look at if 7th house is again the same principles. If 7th house is from Shukra Lagna, Chandra Lagna and Surya Lagna, if the 7th house from these Lagnas are obstructed, that is it has malefics in their houses, then usually there is no early marriage. While examining 7th house, also look at who is, in the 7th. If 7th Lord is in 7th, which planets are in 7th or aspecting? Where is the 7th Lord? Again, the grahas with 7th Lord are aspecting. When you study Shukra, look at which planets are conjoined or aspecting Venus and the nakshatra in which Venus is posited. And see Tula. Why Tula? Because it is the natural 7th in Bhachakra. So see which planets are in Tula, which are aspecting it. There are many early marriage dictums. I have listed a few here. In essence, if you see, all these are revolving around the 7th, right? That we've already taken a note of. Again, Lagna is also mentioned, but again, Lagna is also 7th to 7th. So for me, 7th still becomes more important. Now let's see how these rules come alive in a real chart. Okay, this woman married early at around 21 years of her age. Let's test the dictums we just discussed. Her 7th house is strongly blessed with 2 benefics, Guru and Shukra. Shukra is Kalatra Karaka and Yoga Karaka for this house, Purva Punyadipati, Karmadipati in this house. And when Shukra is in Kona or Kendra, it expedites marriage. Jupiter, the most benefic of all grahas, is exalted in Kataka and here it is in the 7th, showering grace on marriage. Jupiter, as I told you, is also the Karaka for husband. He is exalted here again in 7th. Guru's 5th aspect, if you see, is on the 7th Lord Chandra. And the 7th aspect is on Lagna. And the 9th aspect is on the Lagnadipati Shani, who is sitting in the Kankana Bhagya. If you see from Chandra Lagna, that is, if you see Vrishabha here, there is no malefic there. It is clean. Even from Surya Lagna, if you see, here only Gulika and Upagraha is sitting, not a major planet, right? And of course, even from Shukra, if you see Shukra Lagna, again in Lagna, there are no malefic planets sitting. So the 7th from all these Lagnas are actually indicating early marriage. Now this woman got married at 21. When? During Ketu Dasha and Shukra Bhukti. The chart beautifully supports early marriage. Shukra Dasha or Bhukti, like we know, triggers marriage timing. Also, Where is Ketu? Ketu is in Shukra's house. So Ketu's dispositor becomes Shukra, right? Interestingly, this is a 1967 dated horoscope. Today, such early marriages are rare. We often see more delays or doshas instead. And personally, as a woman and as a professional, I feel it's ideal to marry around 25 when one is mature, well informed, to make a wise choice in choosing a partner. Second case study. An ambitious woman focused on higher studies and career. Marriage wasn't her first priority. She wanted to settle in her career and push the marriage a little, but the marriage at an appropriate age was indicated in her horoscope. If you see seventh house from Lagna, again is clean. From Surya, again clean. From Shukra, again clean. So, again, no obstructions. So, do you think early marriage is there? But if you see the seventh lord, Buddha, is in the 12th house. It's afflicted. And Shukra, the Kalatra Karaka, is being aspected by Shani, the third aspect. So early marriage can be ruled out, but it isn't delayed marriage as well. I'll tell you why. Her Lagna lord was exalted and with moon in the benefic, which is a benefic. Kutumbasthana lord, that is the second Kutumbasthana lord is Shani, who is sitting in the Bhagyasthana. And the third lord Saturn, which is again Shani, Kankana Bhagya lord or Kankanasthana lord, is sitting again in Bhagyasthana. Venus, the Kalatra Karaka, is in its own house in Labhasthana, promising marriage. Again, I told you the grahas that we need to see is Jupiter exalted with moon. Then the sun and moon are in Dusthanas. Sun is in 12th, moon is in 8th, but Jupiter is sitting with moon and Jupiter is aspecting sun. So Jupiter somehow protecting her health. Though Kuja is in the 12th house, Mangala is in the 12th, he is in his own house. Kuja dosha is nullified. She married at the appropriate age of 25 when Venus Dasha and Venus Bhukti came into picture. When it began, during the Venus Dasha and Venus Bhukti, even the transit Guru was second from the moon, again bringing family expansion. Let me tell you about a client of mine. She's an IT professional working in Pune in one of the multinational companies. She asked me, should I marry now or can I delay it? She's 28 years old and was doing well in her career. She felt she can postpone it a couple of years. Her parents were pressurizing her and she reached out to me for direction. Her horoscope actually was indicating alignment for marriage. So with Ketu Dasha and Venus Bhukti in her horoscope, Venus as the fifth lord, Guru's transit was coming up shortly, which is fifth from moon, again opening up marriage prospects. Horoscope is actually nudging her to reconsider her decision. I advised her the timing in astrology isn't just about prediction, it's about harmony with nature's rhythm. If you miss the right window, it often takes time for another to open. So I asked her to perform the remedies, stay open minded. She understood, a smart woman, followed through, and began considering alliances seriously. Why do I share this? Because many parents tell me girls today have too many expectations. But what I've observed is that women today are well informed. They value equality and emotional partnership. They simply want to marry when they are ready, mentally and emotionally. Let's look at a third case study. Another woman from a metro city, intelligent, a research scholar in cutting edge technology. She was going through a lot of emotional turmoil. Should she fight for her love? Is he the right partner for life? Marrying the person you love is imagined to be a blessing, right? Where hopes, dreams, thoughts align well. But we know not every marriage born from love turned to be a happy one. So let's see if this girl will marry her partner. We need to see the fifth house. When it comes to love interest, we need to see the fifth house, fifth lord, and also a couple of other houses, but primarily fifth because it represents love affairs and natural love. Seventh and ninth also need to be seen. Of course, seventh is Kalatrasthana, marriage. You have to see that. But apart from that, it also indicates the status and position and nature of your partner. Ninth house is not only Bhagyasthana, it also represents father. So the father's blessing is there or not. And ninth is also Dharma Sthana, right? So ninth also represents religion and religious customs. Will you follow that? Will the love marriage be culminated into a Shastriya marriage? So if fifth and seventh are in conjunction or related, then love marriage is possible. But if fifth and seventh are in dusthanas or afflicted, it won't fructify into marriage. So the couple might have to willingly or unwillingly sacrifice their love life. And even if the seventh lord is in fifth, or if Shukra is afflicted, then there is an issue. So in her chart, if you see, the fifth lord Saturn is in the fifth house, which is again in the love interest, right? Now here, it also represents the nature of her partner in the current relationship or in the past relationship. So here it means rigidity, narrow-minded, crude character like Saturn's tendencies. Now ninth lord Buddha is also in the fifth. Now though fifth lord Shani is aspecting the seventh lord is not in major conjunction, or any lord of connection is not there. It's a weak. So the girl herself was second guessing her decision, thankfully and rightfully so. Now, will this culminate into a love marriage, right? Now, seventh Lord Mangala, if you see, is sitting in the Bhagyasthana. But if you see the Jupiter who blesses the marriage is afflicted in 12th Dusthana, and which is, it represents losses, Vyaya, and it is also in the enemy's house, Buddha's house, and it is weaker than the Lagna Lord. Who is the Lagna Lord? Shukra. Shukra is exalted here. Now, also when you see the love marriage, you also have to see connection between, or where is Mars, Venus, and Rahu? Are they associated? Mars, here, if you see, they are not associated. Mars, Venus, and Rahu are not associated. And that is why the chances of this love marriage or this love affair culminating into a marriage is little difficult. What about the parents' blessing? Will the parents provide the blessing to this? Now, Guru is not aspected or associated with fifth here or Shani, because Guru is the one who legitimizes the relationship, right? Now, though interestingly, ninth lord, that the father or the Bhagyasthana lord is with Shani in the fifth house. So probably the chances of the parents blessing, yet reluctantly, is slightly seen probably after years and years of negotiation. But Mangala and Shukra association is not very strong, which makes the love affair weak, due to which the girl herself started getting unsure of the relationship. And in my opinion, this is a good part of Jupiter in the 12th, which protected the girl from formalizing the affair into a dissatisfied marriage. As Jupiter is blessing her, the fifth aspect is on her fourth house, which is the Sukhasthana, the fourth house in life. Now, I told you she was 28 years, right? Now, Vivaha and Santana Dosha is clearly seen, and hence marriage was delayed. Of course, she was concentrating on her career, but it is delayed. Now, it was delayed until now she's 20, she was 29 when she was about to get married. It got delayed till 29 years. You see, Vivaha Dosha, I told you Vivaha Dosha, the seventh, if it is afflicted, and the fifth is afflicted. Now, she conducted the pariharas and got clarity in getting out of her relationship and got married in the later part of 2022. Now, what was happening in 2022? Why did it materialize? Because transit Guru was in Meena, which was fifth from her nakshatra is Jyeshtha nakshatra. It was in the fifth when marriage was triggered. Here, this is where you will have to apply the dictum about marriage timing. When transit Guru associated with Venus, fifth or the ninth house or Lord, then marriage is triggered. Her marriage was triggered when transit Guru was in Meena, where Venus is there, and it is also, if you see the Venus Dasha, and who is the Bhukti here? Bhuktinata is Saturn. Who is Saturn? The fifth Lord. She got married during the Venus Dasha Shani Bhukti as well. Again, fifth was, took a lot of, gave a lot of blessing here. Now, why these fifth and ninth are so important? Fifth, of course, is Pura Punyasthana, right? The past year, the past karma, the runanubandha, the blessings that are coming from the past life. Then the ninth is also Bhagyasthana. So these are very important to consider. Of course, Venus, apart from the Kalatra, it's also we know that Venus is the physical relations. And Jupiter, like I said, legitimizes relationship. So this way, these combinations are very, important. It is very interesting that it actually falls in place. Before I go to the next case study, I want to show a few more astrological factors that delay marriage. If you see all the delaying factors here that you see here are concentrated again around 7th and the houses that I mentioned earlier. Dushta Graha in 7th, Saturn influence, 7th Lord. But this one thing that the fourth one that I'm mentioning here, 2nd, 7th, 8th, and 12th houses being afflicted, keep that in mind because we will see in the next case study. And these are interesting delaying combinations of formulae that our scholars have actually given us, ready-made for us to use. There are many of these formulae, but these are the common factors that most of the scholars have recommended. So I will mention these. Now, out of these 8 delaying factors, I have already mentioned the related to Lagna, the 7th house, Kuja Dosha, and afflicted Venus. Now, the only additional factors I want to bring to your notice is Jupiter or Saturn retrograde that can delay. And the 7th and 8th Lord Parivartana Yoga can delay. Now, keeping all these formulae in mind, let's look at this case study of a girl who faced extreme delays. Now, she's a postgraduate in biology, biotech in a metro city, but struggling to maintain a steady job, having health issues. Her marriage was delayed beyond 32. It's interesting how planets play on our mind. I will tell the scenario, but first let's see why it got delayed beyond 32. Saturn is in 7th Lord Saturn is in the 7th. Of course, malefic in 7th is one issue. 7th Lord 7th might reduce, but still it is a malefic in 7th. Delay is seen. Saturn in 7th, I told you, is also Vivaha Dosha, right? And Saturn in 7th, Mandachara Saturn dragged his feet before he blessed her with marriage. I'll say why and why I'm telling he blessed her. Now, Kuja Dosha is nullified. Why? Because Kuja, Mangala, is sitting with Guru. I said that is an exception and it gets nullified. And Venus is in Mithuna. This was one of the formulae that the scholars have recommended in the previous. When it is in Mithuna, it indicates delay. And Saturn is retrograde, another delaying factor seen. 6th Lord Shani. The sixth is Roga Ripu Rona. Losses Lord. Shani is in the 7th. Again, issues in marriage, right? And what is 7th Lord doing? 7th Lord Shani is aspecting the Lagna. So when you see one delaying factor in a horoscope, it causes delays. But here we see there are so many delaying factors. And that is why the marriage was delayed so much. Now, the moon also was in the 6th house, showing health issues and losses due to wrong decisions leading to an extremely late marriage. Now, they performed the remedies. Criteria for choosing the groom became the most issue because they were filtering out so many scenarios and this caused a lot of delays. Saturn, again, I told you, was aspecting Lagna. And Lagna Lord, most importantly, the Sun is in 12th house. Wrong decisions, self-caused issues. So wrong decisions, slow process, increase the delays. She was also undergoing Sade Sati for the last 7.5 years, which worsened matters. Finally, when Shani moved out of Sade Sati, which he moved out in March 2025, and moved to Meena, that is when, and it was at the same time, transit Guru was in Vrishabha, the Purva Punyasthana for her from Chandra. That is when marriage was finalized. Now for the last case study. A senior leader in US, she's doing very well in her career, loves to travel, amazing personality. Her horoscope faces the most challenging combinations. Let's apply all the delaying factors we saw earlier. You see here, Venus, Kalatra Karaka, though he is exalted, he is, he has Papakartari Yoga. He has the 12th Lord Buddha sitting there, the Vyayasthana Lord sitting there, and he has Ketu, and he has Krura Lord or half malefic Surya. And the next delaying factor is Saturn. He's retrograde, he's in the enemy's house, he is afflicting the second house, and he's afflicting the fourth house. Again, fourth house got afflicted, and a malefic is in the 12th, Mangala is in the 12th, second Lord Sun, that is the Kutumbasthana Lord Sun, is afflicted here with the lords that I already said. And Jupiter, if you see the Jupiter's aspect, he's not aspecting the 7th, and he's sitting in the 12th, he's weak, and in enemy's house, Buddha. So the Kutumbasthana is afflicted, like I said. Kankana Sthana is Rahu in it. He's clouding the judgment, not blessing her with marriage. Kalatra Sthana is afflicted by Mangala. His 8th aspect is on the 7th house or the Kalatra Sthana. Then, and Jupiter, like I said, it's already in the house of losses. So all these factors, are there any more? Now, so many factors. Now, now the current age, I told you, she's above 45 and she's still single. Do you think marriage is denied? Will you take it as a denial of marriage? I would like to apply the Ajanma Kumari Yoga here rules. Let's see if Ajanma Kumari Yoga rules apply. What is Ajanma Kumari? Kumari for life, no marriage, right? So these are the 6 rules that our rishis have given. What are those? We'll see how it applies. Now, if the Lagna Lord is in a male Rashi, for a female chart I'm talking about, right? Obviously, it is Ajanma Kumari. So if Lagna Lord here, if you see, he's in the Chandra is a Lagna Lord, he's in Rishabha. It's a female Rashi. First rule is not applicable. Now, male Rashi, Grahas should be dominated in male Rashi. If you see, 6 Grahas are, concentrated in female Rashis. In Meena, in Rishabha, in Kanya. Again, rule is not applicable. Strong male Grahas. What are the male Grahas? Sun, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, right? If these are strong, again, these are not strong. We saw the afflictions that we saw earlier. If Venus and Moon are again in barren Rashis. We are seeing they are not in barren Rashis, they are in fertile Rashis. And if, again, we saw this, the 6th is the same, similar to the first one. So if you see in her horoscope, all the Ajanma Kumari rules, yoga rules do not apply. Of course, the denial of marriage indicators are many, but I have taken these here for now. As per me, only delays are seen in this horoscope and not denial. Though she is mentally strong, physical body is not that healthy. Despite the various delaying factors, even Dasha has not been a strong one with back-to-back unfavorable periods. So Vivaha Dosha Pariharas are essential for this native. There were many Guru transits that could have, triggered, but it didn't fructify because I know, I'm not showing you the Dasha Bhukti here. They were back-to-back Dasha, Dashas are not favorable. That is another reason that, it didn't fructify. And I believe a person who is keen to marry, the keen and consistent desire to marry should be there. And here is where I would look at the 5th lens I spoke of. Though there are so many challenging, factors, of course, remedy should be done, but also you need to put in double the effort. Because, and you cannot delegate this to family members to search for an ideal partner, after a certain age. You have to be equally invested in it. All right, so those were the 5 case studies. Now I'll come to the interesting, combination between Vastu and marriage. There's a pro tip from me. Even Vastu can impact your marriage. So how do you determine if there is a Vastu dosha? Can you check Vastu doshas from your horoscope? Absolutely. Here's how you can check Vastu doshas in your horoscope. Check the 4th bhava or the 4th lord. Okay, if that is afflicted, then there is Vastu dosha. So here in this example, you see Shani is in the fourth, and the fourth Lord Surya is in the eighth house, Dusthana, losses Lord. Now, if it is afflicted, then Vastu dosha is seen. What is the impact of Vastu dosha? Delay in marriage, imbalance at home, delays in owning or retaining a property. Similarly, we saw Vastu doshas in a horoscope. Now, can you see if Vastu dosha in your house, is it impacting your marriage, or is it impacting your life? Yes, of course it is. You can see that. You check the southeast segment, the Agneya Sthana, because Shukra is the Adhipati there. He is the Kalatra Karaka, the female in the house. He represents marriage. And if the southeast segment has extended or as a cut, then there is an issue. So, for instance, if there's a northeast cut or a southwest cut, then the extension is seen, right? So, that is when you can see that southeast is afflicted. Also, it could be because of underground water sump, or the toilets in the ground floor there, or the septic tank there, overhead water, overhead tank there. All these will cause issues. This problem in the southeast in your house can cause delays in getting suitable proposals, delays in marriage for unmarried women, or unhappy marriage for the married women, and health issues for the women in the house. Also, your room in the house matters. As an unmarried female, your room should ideally be in the northwest quadrant of the house. Why northwest? How will this help? Northwest is ruled by Chandra. It is Vayusthana, helps you remain cool and calm to take right decisions. Northwest is also a Charasthana. The energy in the Charasthana makes you ready to move forward with your new life. That is why Northwest area is also, the room is also called the daughter's room. So that it will help you move out of your parents' place like the Vayu, easy to move, to get married at the right time. Let's say your room is, as a single woman, is in the southeast. It indicates you will not be at peace at home, restless. Since it is a Sthirasthana, delays in your marriage will be there. Now, having studied the 5 case studies of different nature, let's now move to the final step in the preparation phase of marriage. How do you check for the right partner? You've taken care of the remedies, right? Now, how do you check for the right partner? When parents or well-wishers of the boy approach me for consultation, I often hear remarks like, girls these days have unreasonable expectations. They're too materialistic. Now, as consultants of astrology, we must learn to look beyond such assumptions and understand the evolving social context. Women nowadays have evolving priorities, and that reflects both awareness and progress. A recent survey published in the Deccan Chronicle offers some interesting insights. You see, 39% of women value compatibility as the most important factor in marriage. 29% give importance to love and emotional connection. And only 11% consider financial stability as the top factor. The remaining 21% equally value emotional support, shared values, mutual respect, education, family background, lifestyle alignment. So modern women are seeking equality, not dominance or luxury, but partnership. And this is exactly where astrology becomes invaluable. There are many things you see in Kundali matching. Longevity dashas, vivaha guna, dasha kuta, ashtakuta. As a modern woman, if you're seeing this, and before you dismiss Kundali matching as something outdated, I want to take a few moments to appreciate how brilliantly scientific and psychologically structured our sages made this system. Let's take, for instance, the Ashtakuta system, right? Ashta means 8, Kuta is the dimensions or areas of harmony. The spiritual and ego alignment through Varna, the emotional and mental understanding can be seen through Graha Maitri, and the physical and psychological attraction can be seen through Yoni. The temperament and energy balance can be seen through Gana, even health and well-being through Tara and Nadi. When seen together, this becomes like a 360 degrees compatibility matrix, a scorecard for you. covering the emotional, physical, mental, spiritual phases of partnership, long before modern psychology even defined such parameters. Of course, we know out of 36, a minimum 18 are required. As per me, Kundali matching is not old style. It's ancient intelligence, a sophisticated framework that helps you understand a woman and her partner before she steps into marriage. In fact, my passion is to spread awareness about this divine science. I have a YouTube channel dedicated to this purpose, Astro Science with Archna Murthy. It has over 250 videos that simplify astrology for everyone. It's my way of helping people understand and use astrology in their daily lives. And once the right person has been chosen for marriage, what is the final step you need to look at as an astrologer? You begin the marriage. Before you begin the marriage, you need to choose the right muhurta. Why am I stressing about muhurta? Because our Maharishis say that by choosing the proper muhurta for marriage, many evil indications in couples charts can be minimized. The right timing, that is through Tithi, Vara, Nakshatra, Yoga, and Karanas, sacred combinations, Tarabala, can create a foundation for lifelong happiness. As per me, even muhurta is important in the pre-marriage phase to ensure harmony between couple. And coming to a small tip for as an astrologer, we also need to be a counselor, an empath, a guide. It is our duty to provide clarity to our client and not to confuse them with various dictums. Just give them a direction, give them a solution, give them one or two pieces of advice and not just confuse. This could happen, that could happen. You know, I've seen a lot of people when they come to me with confusion. Help them, empower them to take the right decision. How can we do that as astrologers, right? As an astrologer, to hone your skills, we are students for life. Read, and read as much as possible. Read the Astrologically magazine, classics such as the Brihat Parashara Hora Shastram. From its source, learn Sanskrit. That's how we can be better guide to everyone. And finally, I believe that beyond our analytical capability and understanding of astrology, another important factor to enhance as an astrologer or be better as an astrologer is to do mantra sadhana, to gain the intuitive power. Why? There are hundreds of dictums that are provided by scholars. There are so many methods that are provided, so many rishis have given us. When you see a horoscope, how do you know which ones to apply? In my experience, intuition plays a 30% role in your prediction as an astrologer. A mantra sadhana done with discipline and purity refines your intuition, which helps you apply the right principle at the right time. Now, how do we know which deity to pray to? This is again a tip that I'll give before I end the session. If you already have been given a mantropadesha, great, you're blessed. Then please follow it. But if you don't know which upasana to do, then see your chart. See your Rashi chart. Check the degree of your fifth lord, your Purva Punyadipati. Where is it placed in your Rashi chart? This degree needs to be matched. The fifth lord degree needs to be matched with the Vimshamsha deity list. You will find the deity that will help you in the path of mantra sadhana. I'll give the list, but let's see why Vimshamsha. Vimshamsha is also called Upasana. Is provided by our rishis for doing upasana. For example, if your fifth lord is Mars, it is in the 2020 here in Vrishchika and even Rashi, then this is the deity list. You can correlate that here with the even Rashi and say that Varahi is the deity for you. You need to, if this native does the Varahi's upasana, it can enhance clarity, articulation, and intuitive grasp in astrology. Disciplined and pure mantra sadhana refines intuition to apply the right principle at the right time. To summarize, we saw the Vedic visions of marriage, right? 8 types, and what our Vedas say or what our Vedic scholars say about marriage. What are the 5 lenses or the analysis points that you need to apply and analyze a chart? The bhava, the grahas, the transits, the timing lens, and all these. Then we also saw 5 case studies where we applied these rules. And finally, how to enhance your intuitive power. With that, I end my session today. emphasizing the Shakti energy and the power of women in the society. Yatra naryastu pujyante ramante tatra devataha. Yatraitastu na pujyante. Sarvaha tatra aphalaha kriyaha. It's such a timeless thought. Even thousands of years ago, our sages emphasized that the strength and harmony of any home or even a society depends on how we treat its women. This verse means that the prosperity and the divine energy is seen in a home where women are respected and honored. But where women are not respected or honored, that home will not see true prosperity or peace. With that, I end my session today, and dhanyavadaha to all the audience who have joined from all areas of the globe for attending this session with a pure joy for learning. Dhanyavadaha.
Dr. Archana, that was an absolutely brilliant class. We'll open this for Q&A. To the audience who are there, I've already seen a long list of questions, but feel free to pop more there. Please use the chat window. A quick reminder, please keep all the questions focused on the content of the session. Personal questions will not be addressed. So we'll start beaming them in the screen, and Dr. Archana, I request you to kindly read them out loudly and then answer them.
I know. I was expecting this. Kriti, what role does Navamsha play in seeing quality of marriage or husband's nature? Of course, you can see Navamsha. Navamsha also gives you an idea of the bhagya in your life or the marriage or the husband's nature. But we have so many rules to apply, right? So, and today's session, I have only focused on that, and that's why I have not covered Navamsha. But yes, please go ahead and even read up on Navamsha. As per my guru, I have focused more on the D1 chart, and that is why I have focused for that today. Hi, Poonam. Namaste. And I have to give one, appreciation to Poonam. I have always seen her active participation for the last 3 years that I have seen. She's always had wonderful sessions. Wonderful questions. And she's always there, participating. Kudos to you for the learning spirit. Your question, would the same definitions and placements for Manglik Dasha, Vivaha Dosha, Manglik Dosha, Vivaha Dosha, Santana Dosha persist in Navamsha chart? And would the Parihara be same or different? I would say I would focus more this Manglik Dosha and Vivaha Dosha on the D1 chart. That is where I would see more. Of course, there are other rules that, the doshas that you can see in the Navamsha, but I would say predominantly I would focus on the D1 for now, the Rashi chart.
We have a few more. Maybe I'll just read it out. Okay, it's come. Yeah.
Okay. Aris has asked, how would we approach second marriage? Are there different rules than the ones you discussed? Please guide. Yes. I actually initially thought that, I will even cover the remarriage phase. But, I can't cover everything in 1 hour. But the remarriage or the second marriage, of course, you can approach it actually where 7th house, if you see as the first marriage, the 9th house in your horoscope will be considered as the second marriage. And from there, we will see all the rules, and that is afflicted, and there is the 9th lord. And of course, the other rules also will define. So that way, we can also see the remarriage also in your chart. And of course, like I told you, especially Uranus, I can't stress the importance of Uranus when it comes to remarriage. Because Uranus, though in Indian astrology, we don't really take Uranus, give Uranus a lot of importance. But Uranus in Tula, or Uranus in seventh, okay, gives a lot of issues. It indicates remarriage. It also indicates, for an unmarried, it indicates a lot of delays. It is also taken as a vivaha dosha. And Uranus, when it is in, for a married person, it indicates separation, multiple marriages, and also it also, kind of indicates loss of partner. So Uranus is really important to analyze. Okay, ma'am, Saturn moon conjoint will delay marriage. It depends on where it's placed, of course. You'll have to see the place, but I'll just give you an idea of just the conjunction, or, if it is Saturn and moon. Saturn and moon. Now, what is Saturn? It's a, it's a kind of a, it's a cloud kind of a, graha, right? So it kind of clouds the mind. So Saturn and moon, it actually, the conjunction is considered as melancholy. It makes a person think a lot. It makes a person, feel too sorry for themselves, feel too sad. They'll keep asking, why is this happening to me? Why me? What, why all this is happening to me? That melancholy aspect is too much. So yes, if all the other delaying factors that are in the horoscope are not seen, then probably it might not impact that much. But Saturn and moon is something that, I would say, do the Hanuman Chalisa, do the meditation to actually override that.
There's one that looks like a personal question, but I'll just pass this for now. What it says is, what if the seventh lord is combust with Sun and Ketu in the fifth? Does the
Seven.
Trikona effect still hold? I'll repeat that. What if the seventh lord is combust and the Sun and Ketu is in the fifth house?
Yeah, I mean, we are seeing the delaying factor, right? Or I already mentioned, obviously, seventh lord, you are only telling me the seventh lord is combust. It is afflicted. It is, it is actually delaying marriage. And on top of that, you're telling me that, the Pura Punya Sthana, who, kind of blesses you with the Runanubandha and the marriage. Again, it has Ketu, the detachment lord, a moksha karaka, who is kind of, away, going away a little away from the marriage, and they both are in the fifth. It is difficult. It is a difficult combination.
I think we'll skip the rest, but as we told, no personal questions. With this, I think Dr. Archana, on behalf of everyone, thank you very much.
Thank you.
The clarity that you brought to such a complex topic, actually, marriage is just remarkable. Where I was very keenly listening to it, and you brought a very structured way in which you said how to connect the marital houses, what roles do grahas play, the pre-marriage dilemmas, early marriage, all the way to timing. Very cohesive analysis. So that's really invaluable tool. I think for all practitioners, I think if they take this as a toolkit and then start applying these 5 lenses, I think everyone would get benefited. So thank you very much there.
Thanks a lot.
With this, what I want to do is I want to also quickly let the team know that our learning journey continues tomorrow as well. And tomorrow's session is something that you should truly not miss it. Our master for tomorrow is Sri Niranjan Babu, who carries forward the monumental legacy of his father, Dr. B.V. Raman. And with over 50 years of dedicated practice, Sri Niranjan Babu is an authority today, a living authority in Vastu and Jyotisha, and the guiding hand behind countless homes, industries, temples worldwide. And he's transformed lives by creating powerful spaces of growth and prosperity. Tomorrow, he'll teach Devalaya Vastu. And it's a rare opportunity for each one of you to understand how and what drives this sacred space and how divine energies can be harnessed. So join us again at the same time tomorrow, 5 p.m. IST. Until then, have a wonderful rest of the day. Namaste.